far away.
Anything else there?
Ewan, what's going to change next year? We see a lot of titles change, but what jobs actually change a lot more clouded? What's going to change next year?
Well, it's not going to be that clouded. In the end, we're trying to add quality to the organisation. It's not often in sport, let alone in rugby, we actually get a chance to plan for the future. Most of the time, coaches come in and they get given a set of circumstances. We've taken a view 6 months ago that we could have a good look at, given we've built the strength of the organisation and the team, we're able to have a good look at the succession side of things, and we started that process 6 months ago, and obviously yesterday announcement is part of that process. It's just an ongoing process of making sure that we've got an ongoing calibre of the right people and the right inputs at the right time. In the end, coaching is a collaborative process. There's always a bunch of coaches involved in putting preparation together, and so that continues. I'm still running the program and still accountable for rugby in Queensland. So in some sense, some things don't change, but Richard has a chance to come in and understand how we do business and learn that. And obviously, my time at Queensland, in terms of the coaching sense, is always finite. It always is in coaching. You have to prepare for other things. So we got a chance to transition that. So next year we'll be transitioning.
Did you initiate it, the succession plan?
Oh, look, I was involved. Jim and I talked about this way. We were in the World Cup final. We had discussions about. How long ago? That was 6-7 months ago. We were talking about that. We've had an eye on succession in all positions in the rugby department. In fact, in the organisation, we're always looking at that. I mean, good organisations, you've got to take the time to breathe and look and make sure that it's all very well doing well and having success, but you've got to be able to build on that and turn that into some sort of legacy. There's no point having success and then going backwards. So you always got to try and grow and accept that that there's a renewal process and a renovation process and whatever. But the idea is to do it in a managed way rather than an ad hoc and sort of reactive way. So we've been managing this process. We conceptualised it, and then we obviously developed it. My announcement back in late January about signing on for a couple of years, it's all true. I'm committed here for another couple of years. But in that process, we're also looking at beyond that and trying to work out the best structure going forward. We're trying to get the best possible structure for rugby in Queensland, not just coaching the Reds, but also about how we interact with the community and the whole piece. So and make sure that we have continued success. So that's what the good sporting teams do. That good sporting organisations plan for that. They have time to plan for it. They have the capacity to do it. They have the vision for it. We want to put ourselves into that space. So, tell me where another super team in Australia has had the opportunity to be proactive in that sense. So I think we've been pretty forward thinking.
Have you got set guidelines to what your role is compared to what Richard is? Obviously, with the AFL, this has happened before with Nick Malthouse, and they couldn't work out exactly what the two different roles were. Do you have set roles where you won't be stepping on Richard or vice versa?
Yeah, we'll definitely have. I mean, in the end, every organisation has a hierarchy and a set of job descriptions. So that's all stuff that we'll work out. The main thing is, in the end, it's a personality-based business. Same with the playing group. When you're signing and recruiting players, it's about attracting the right type of person. I spend a lot of time on recruitment and getting the right people, staff and players, and that's if you've got the quality there and you've got the right type of people, you can build a powerful team and a powerful group, and I think we've been pretty good at it. And so I don't think we don't make rash decisions. We choose wisely. We look at the attitude and the personality as much as the talent side of it. So I think we've got the right person, and we'll grow that space. We'll work out. We've got other. We've got to fill. Matt Taylor's leaving. We've got to fill that position. So we've got a chance to look at the coaching group and how we structure it and come up with a different model. Bottom line is that you've got to keep things moving forward. You can't just go out there and present the same scenario, the same set of circumstances you had the year before. Otherwise, you're going backwards in sport. So you've got to move the voices around. You might move the job roles around. We're all capable experienced coaches, so we can actually modify and do things differently. But they're all discussions that we'll have down the track in the fullness of time. We've got plenty of time to organise the detail. The main thing is get the quality people.
Ewan, would you be able to juggle this new role if the Wallabies job came your way?
All people speculate about this all the time. All I can control is what I'm doing and the job that I'm doing. So I don't have any thoughts about exterior to what's going on at Queensland Rugby. That's all we can control. That's all I'm involved with. It's all the discussions I've had about. It's all I'm thinking about. I don't have any control about anything else that's going on in rugby. So I just concentrate on that. So you can speculate all you like about that and the motivations and whatever. In the end, we're trying to put in the best model for Queensland Rugby. That's all I'm concentrating on, and it's a great opportunity for us because we've got the vision in the organisation and the executive level and the board level to see that there's an opportunity to grow and set up things for the long haul. So that's, for me, is very interesting. There's a number of projects around Queensland Rugby that remain unresolved, like Ballymore, what the future of Ballymore is going to be. So there's a lot of things that interest me. You've got to understand that I've been coaching at this level, doing this sort of coaching for 10 years now. I'm interested in growing my skill sets around what rugby offers, and that's, I'm talking about the executive level and learning new things. So this new structure will allow me to do and concentrate and actually develop some skills around the edges, which I'm actually doing those roles, but probably not in a quasi sort of role. It allows me to actually concentrate on that a little bit more. So, you know, that's where the focus is. It's all about Queensland.
You can understand from an outsider's point of view, though, it looks at least as it's the perfect succession plan for you to develop it.
I've had no discussions with the AU about anything. All right, so this is just myself talking to Jim, talk to Rob McCall, the board, trying to put the best plan in for Queensland. That's it. So you can speculate all you like, but it's entirely about that. And you know, I just look at what I can control and what I can do. At the moment, we're concentrating on beating the Stormers, to be honest. That's where the focus is. And that's where it'll be. As soon as I walk out of this room, we're back on the Stormers. So we've got a training session in half an hour's time. So that's where we're at. We concentrate on the here and now. We've got the opportunity to look a little bit further ahead, and that's what, as a leader in an organisation, you've got to have that ability to look forward. And I've always tried to cast my mind forward, regardless of my own personal circumstance. I've always tried to look forward, and I've always tried to make sure I leave whatever I'm doing better than what I got it. And you know, at the moment, the Reds are better than how I received it, and I intend to make sure that when I leave, that they'll be better, much better. So, and we're talking more strategically there than, you know, just the week-to-week winning side of it. So that's my vision around it. I think that coaching has got, it's got the tactical piece on and it's got the technical piece where you get out there and kick the football and pass it and whatever. It's got that bit, but it's also how you influence what you do with the winning and losing, what you do with the stakeholders around the game. You've got to engage them. I think that's a really important part and often gets missed. You can just become absorbed in your own little battle and with your 30 players, but you actually got to get out there and influence and shape the game of rugby. We've got a great opportunity. We've been shaping the game of rugby in Queensland now for the last couple of years. You've got to have that. You've got to have enough people to do that. I think Richard Graham's a brilliant personality who understands that dynamic. I've watched it very closely, what he's been doing at the Force. I think he can add to that. It gives us more people to go out there. In the end, you've got to have enough people to go and represent the game in Queensland. It's a big state, 200 clubs, lots of schools. There's only a couple of us and a small number of players, and half of them are away with the Wallabies half the time. We need to have personalities and presence out there in the marketplace. It's hot competition here. We're taking on the other codes. The more people we can bring to bear in that challenge, the better. And I think he's going to be a good guy coming in and will help us in that battle.
You mentioned recruitment a bit earlier. Obviously, overnight's been speculated with Pocock on contract and Richard coming here. Will you guys make a play for Pocock?
You can speculate a little on recruitment. We're well down the track on recruitment anyway. But this process does allow, in terms of the succession plan, some input from the guy that's going to push through. To have some input. Normally you arrive and you just arrive and you're given a set of players someone else has chosen. So this transition allows us to have some discussions around recruitment. In the end, we're a fair way down the track. The whole salary cap piece is still still simmering along in terms of what that's going to look like in its entirety. There's obviously different messages every week. Hopefully we'll get some clarity sooner or later. But in the end, we've got a team that's won a title. Everyone obviously feels like they deserve more, and so we've got a more expensive squad than we had last year. So we've got to be mindful that we've got restrictions on what we can do. So, but our job is, my job and everyone's job is to try and get the best possible squad. So I won't limit all my discussions and who we talk to, but I don't have any specific plans, and I haven't spoken to David Buck at all.
One of the best players in the world, though, certainly be attractive.
There's lots of good players out there. There's lots of players you'd love to have, and then you've got to afford them under the rules of the competition. So we've got really good players here. I'm really pleased with the Bo Robinsons and the Liam Gills of the world doing a great job for us.
You and we sounding out a few candidates, or you always headhunting Richard?
I think once we understood what we wanted to go with the succession plan, it was really a matter of looking out there and seeing again, I'll go back to personality, getting the right type of person with coaching credentials, but a range of coaching experience. But in the end, you want to get someone that's going to fit in. We don't want to have a situation where we've got where we're diametrically opposed in terms of philosophy. I think we've actually got very similar philosophies. I've known him for a long time in different circumstances, and we've always got on well with him. I think that we have a very similar philosophy about rugby. We both coach the same way. We coach the circumstances we're in. So you get given a set of circumstances and you make the best of it. And he's had a tough set of circumstances, but he still managed to beat the Waratahs and the Reds this year with a tough set of circumstances. So you look for people that can actually make the best out of what they've got and understand the wider dynamic. And I can't stress enough, you've got to understand how the team relates to the community, the grassroots, and how the grassroots give to the team in terms of turning up and watching you play. We've got a good connection there. You don't get 50,000 people turning up to Suncorp if you're not connected to the grassroots of the game. And he understands that. I can see it in the way he operates over there. So that's really important. You can be winning and have a stadium half full. That's not a great circumstance. So we've got to try and connect the dots there. And I think we've done a good job in a short space of time as an organisation. But you've got to understand that dynamic. That dynamic takes time. It takes effort. It needs people that understand it, but also get out there and get amongst it. And I think the new structure will give us more resources and more people that understand it and will make it happen.
You said the decision was made at the World Cup last year to do this. Would it be fair to say that this succession plan would be in place if you didn't have the success that you did last year with the Reds?
Yeah, I think we're a proactive organisation. We've grown the whole time, and we're trying to grow regardless of whether you win. I mean, you can get bogged down on the Bulls' result or whatever. You've got to bulletproof yourself against the winning and losing, and you've got to set up an organisation that can ride out the dynamics. Any person out there understands that you don't win every week, so you've got to be able to push through that. And it's again, you get the benefit of the work you do with the stakeholders, the positive work you do with the stakeholders, if you're genuine and consistent in that space. If you vacate that space and then you start and you're not winning, then you've got not much to work with. So we've worked hard in that space, so you can ride the ups and downs of sport, which is going to happen to everyone. We're always going to be looking at succession, because in the end, I understand sport well enough to know that my time is finite. My time as the head coach of the Reds is finite. It's always going to be finite, and there's only so many times you can stand there and you've got to keep changing the voices. I can change the players, I can change the staff around me. Eventually you're going to be changed. So you want to do that in a way that you can manage it yourself and get the best result for yourself and for the organisation. So this is all longer term stuff. I'm not living in the moment here. We're trying to look 2-3 years ahead and actually say what's it going to look like then, and make sure it's better than it is now.
When you talked about the organisation being proactive and I suppose how far it's come, I mean, do you look at where you inherited on this franchise and where it's come to now? And are you proud of on and off the field where it is?
Why wouldn't I be? I mean, it's been one of the best jobs I've ever had, in terms of coaching. It's been a short time, but yeah, I mean, you only look where it was, and people forget that really quickly. And that's the thing that I find interesting. People forget where you were and obviously as your expectation builds and people have higher demands and expect higher standards, which is fine. That goes with the territory, but they were pretty humble beginnings for most of us in the building, and we're very proud of that. And a lot of people had a hand in making that happen, and a lot of people have got a hand in making it continue. But just to sit there, and we're not interested in sitting and patting ourselves on the back. It's about actually continuing to grow and trying to stay ahead of the rest of the competition, and and I keep reinforcing, and to stay ahead of the rest of the other sports. Our real battleground is the other sports here in Queensland. It's not so much the Waratahs or the Rebels. We battle them on the field, but it's actually the hearts and minds of the kids and whatever. And that's where we've got to make sure that we're an organisation that's in their face in a positive way and providing a genuine sporting alternative for those kids to think about and fantasise about, and the heroes are going to be there and whatever. And I think we have developed a lot of heroes in rugby in this state in the last couple of years, a lot of recognisable faces. And as I say, the more people we can get in that space, the better. And I think someone like Richard will give us another person out there in the rugby world who can communicate. He's a Queenslander, he understands. People know him, so it gives us another personality out there as well. So we can actually broaden our communication with the rugby world and the wider population who we're trying to attract to the game.
Ewan, I know that it's all speculation talk of the Wallabies job, but has there been any conversation about a blessing from Rod or Jim to move on to a Wallabies role in the future? Any talk about that?
We concentrate on the red stuff because that's all we know. That's all we know. So we focus our attention on what we can control. The rest of it's just speculative. Who knows? Who knows what's going on? No one knows. So we just worry about what's going on. And, any other job outside of here has got to be interesting for the right reasons. So I don't limit myself. If I was looking for another job, I'll look for the job that suits me and excites me and suits my skill set and got the best chance of actually making a difference. In the end, I like to do things where I get a set of circumstances and you make it better. And I've had that before at the Waratahs. I've really enjoyed it here, and so and I'm continuing on here. I've signed on for another couple of years, so this is not some parting farewell. I mean, I'm still going to be here. I'm still accountable for the rugby program. I've got to front the board and tell them why we're going well or why we aren't. So I'm still doing that, So in the end, we're just trying to come up with a more sophisticated structure to be able to take the game to another level in Queensland and take on our competitors.
One of the big things James Hall talked about at the start of the year was, for a long time, Queensland juniors, I guess, were being lost to the other franchises, and he was saying that he wanted Queensland schoolboys to want to play for the Queensland Reds, and he thought that they created that. I mean, how much of your role as a director now will sort of be in creating that pathway or stabilising it?
It's already been my role. Connected the dots on that, and we stopped the flow of talent out straight away. We stopped that. We haven't recruited too much from outside of Queensland talent. You've got your Bay Robinsons and your Radikis, but basically everyone else, pretty much Queenslanders through and through. And you've seen us contract the academy guys, and we've been doing that diligently year in, year out. We've got the next rung of talented players already. I mean, some are injured at the moment, so you haven't had a chance to see them, but there's some really good players coming through, and that's a very important part. In the end, you've got to keep the flow coming through, and I'm very interested in that side of it. I spend a lot of time in the recruitment side of it. But that takes time. No one would understand how complicated it is and I'm managing the contracting now. I've picked that up since January. It's a very complicated piece to spend time negotiating properly and communicating with player managers and about. It's a very time consuming, so it's hard to do that and still you've got to micromanage the team stuff. So I've got a big job at the moment, need more help, basically. So but it's the team success for me is it's based on culture and it's based on having the right people. So the quality of person you bring in, player or staff, and that actually dovetails into the culture. And the culture is what you guys see, the shop front, how the Reds are represented out in the community. Wasn't great when I arrived. I think we've got a pretty good image out in the community on lots of levels. It's very important, and it's very important to the board that continues and grows and gets stronger. And that's how we do that's our commitment to rugby. We're going to be the shop front there, so kids can say, I want to be a Red. I want to play rugby.
Do you think Jim Carmichael's got anything to worry about with your sending up the job chain?
I don't think so. Jim's far more talented than I am at business. I'm just a rookie and I'm interested in the mechanics of business and sporting business and how it works, and obviously I'm picking up stuff as I go along. So when you talk about job growth, you've got to find ways to keep yourself interested in and keep yourself learning. I'm a guy that likes to learn. I'm a sponge for information and understanding the dynamics. Because in the end, there's nothing that happens in this building that doesn't influence what the Reds are doing, and the Reds influence. The team can't exist on its own, so you've got to understand those dynamics, and all those dynamics influence the culture of the team. So you've got to manage that relationship quite strongly. And I'm lucky I've got a very progressive and young executive here who understand, and we've worked really well together. And I think that's the reason that Queensland Rugby's doing well at the moment, is we've actually got everyone working together. People just assume that would happen, but in every business, it doesn't happen without good dynamics management. And Jim Carlyle has done a very good job in that space. I've learned a lot from him in a very short space of time, and I think I've made a contribution as well, because I've made it important. I've made the dynamics of sport and the dynamics of the business important to the Reds, and vice versa. So I manage that relationship pretty well, and I'll continue to manage that, because they're the important things: the recruitment and the culture, the two bits that will undo you faster than anything else. So it doesn't matter where you kick the football or where you throw the ball in the line. If you haven't got your recruitment and your culture bit right, it can be a slippery slope.
Well,